that was. Good afternoon. This Township of Selwyn Council meeting of September the 9th, 2025 will come to order. We respectfully acknowledge that we are on the treaty and traditional territory of the Mississauga and Anishinaabe. We offer our gratitude to the First Peoples for their care for and teachings about our earth and our relations. May we honor those teachings. Please observe a moment of silence so that council, staff, and members of the public can quietly reflect on our duty to the community that we are trying to serve. Thank you. Members of the public, staff, presenters, and members of council, please be advised that meetings are broadcast and recorded and made available on the internet. I would ask that all comments, questions, and answers be directed through me as the chair. This includes the public, staff, and council members. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or the general nature thereof? Seeing none, please note that in the minutes. We have our minutes of August the 12th, 2025 before us. Everybody's had a chance to have a look at them. Are there any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I need someone to move them. Moved by Councillor Koulis, seconded by Deputy Mayor Black. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Is there any discussion out of the minutes? Seeing none, we will now go to question period. We have 15 minutes, one question per person at a time on a rotating basis. Are there any questions? You could please go to the mic and give us your name and your address. Is the mic on?
I'm not sure, that's shorter than the right.
Sorry, if you can just, there's a button there, sorry, if you can just, sorry, thanks, Mike.
Thank you. So better?
Yep.
Awesome, thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor Simonson Council. My name is Lynn Bueller and I live at 1123, the fifth line. That's between Hilliard and Center Line. And my question today is just regarding the proposed motion that's described in section 10 of the agenda. And thank you, Councillor Henry, for bringing that motion forward. My question is, I would like to know what new information you hope to obtain by undertaking a study. This work was done in 2022, and I appreciate that there are some new faces around the table, some attorneys, but maybe many of you weren't present at that time. So that's a bit of information. This section of roadway does meet the built up requirement under the HDA. There's 21 homes, farms, and businesses, and 2,900 meters of roadway. From Hilliard to 1123, there is a building every 70 meters. If you're taking into account both sides of the road. And if you look at only the north side, it's one building every 116 meters, and on the south, one every 175 meters. So by any metric, from Hilliard Street to 1123, we certainly meet the HD requirements, and I believe we do for the entire stretch of road between Hilliard and Centerline Smith.
Mrs. Bueller, I was waiting for you to take a breath. You were thinking one. That is supposed to be a question.
Okay, so the question is, what new information do you hope to obtain from another study when the study is completed and data is available from 2020?
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Madam.
Yes, through you. Just as you did point out, this council actually didn't deal with any of that information. That information was provided to the last council in the last term. So it would be important for this group to understand what some of that data is in terms of the built up area definition. And in addition to that, staff, being aware that there was a concern about the speed limit, have actually had the speed awareness board at the location to plug some new speeding data. So that new data will be provided in the report.
So I think that we are going to be dealing with this through the motion. It's near the end of the meeting. We don't have a really big agenda here. So if you wouldn't mind waiting to be here for the discussion. Thank you very much for
Thank
your
you.
question. All right, we are going to move on to our first report, which is Peterborough Police Service Agreement Renewal, and Janice.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ennis. As council is aware, the agreement with the city of Peterborough and the Peterborough Police Services Board for policing services in the village ward expires at the end of this year. The agreement does provide for an extension of the term, subject to the agreement of the parties that are involved. Earlier this year, council had directed us to go away and speak with the city or the board, or not the board, but the staff at the police service to discuss a renewal term for the agreement. We have now done that. Just as background, this agreement has been in place since 2015, since the time that the Peterborough Lakefield Police Service deamalgamated. The service level under the contract is consistent with what the village had previously enjoyed under the former service. And I'd say the community, from all reports, seems to be very satisfied with the level of service, and we haven't really heard of any concerns with that, with the policing service. So we did proceed with having some discussions with the parties. The proposed agreement is attached. It continues to provide for the same level of service. It provides for a 5-year extension period, another to December 31st, 2030. And then again, would have that renewal provision in it as well for when that term is coming to the end. There is a termination provision wherein either party could terminate the agreement, giving 1 full year written notice. The agreement does continue to provide for township representative to attend the board meetings, and it has clarified the legislation around that has changed somewhat, and it's very specific that representative would come to advise the board on their strategic plan preparation. The intention is to carry on that liaison role as it is now, and I think there's been a little bit of wording added to the agreement to the effect that that liaison member would also be able to advise the board in terms of township issues related to policing. So I think that provides a bit of certainty and clarification for us in terms of that ongoing role. The agreement has just recently been approved by the city of Peterborough, and the board has indicated their support of it. So we're the last party to agree. Schedule C continues to provide for the annual cost and the cost adjustments, and it's similar to previous practice. So the human resources component is based on actual compensation increases, and the rest of the components are based on the budget increase for the city of Peterborough. Based on current estimates, the anticipated cost for 2026 for the same level of service is $762,977, which is an increase of approximately 6.87%. Of course, this is an estimate because the city hasn't finalized their budget, but that is where it would be finalized through that process, but that's the estimate we have to work with at this point. And certainly, if there are any overtime requirements, extenuating circumstances, costs, and the township is required to compensate for that. As per the billing that we received from the city, we really have not had a lot of extra costs over the years, and as everybody is aware, we have built up a fairly substantial reserve that's available to cover those types of costs if they do occur. So with that, I'll leave it with you and happy to answer any questions.
Okay, well, thank you. And as you mentioned, it's the same agreement as we had in the past. We have before us a motion to receive the information and pass the bylaw. And first I'll go to Councillor Boyko, he's the ward councillor, I guess.
Just moving along.
Oh, okay. Do you have something you wanted to say that we had like, or are you just seconding?
Questions?
Sure.
I will second the motion though. So just question with respect to overtime costs, is it the same scenario with the OPP or where I know it talks about the city, if they need OPP, special services, provincial services, that's extra cost. But if we access those special services under OPP contract, are we charged additional for that as well?
Yeah, so it's done a little differently in terms of how the cost estimate works. So when we get our annual cost estimate, it's based on a rolling average of the previous 4 years. So they kind of try and build in what experience has been to that estimate. There is a reconciliation that takes place at the end of every year. We actually see the results of the reconciliation 2 years after, because of their process. But yes, there is.
It's built into the average.
It's
as
built
opposed to-
into the average and then it is reconciled. So if we paid too much, we get a credit. If we've not paid enough, we have to pay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, thank you, Julie. Looking at 17 and 18 termination, there's no penalty for termination at all in this contract. Is that was the big issue when it went from Peterborough Lakefield Police to the contract? So there's no other document that says there's a termination cost?
No, so we would give a year's notice.
Yeah.
And they would have to give us a year's notice. There was no penalty at the time of the de-amalgamation. What there was we had to go through a process because it was a jointly owned service. So we had to go through the process of assets and liabilities to determine who owed what at the end of the day. But
Yeah,
it wasn't a
chief
penalty.
and deputy chief each got a year's salary out of that. That was the big issue in the paper. With the termination, they were considered terminated and they both got a year's salary.
That came to fruition after we had finalized our discussions with the city.
Right, so the city paid that anyways. Okay. I'm just making sure. Fine, thank you.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Is there any other questions or comment? Seeing none, all in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much. We'll go on to the next report. And Adam, you're going to be talking about the Ward Street CIP and extension of sidewalk, police communication road.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just for information that you're aware, township staff have participated in a technical advisory committee with the Ward Street EA process. That process is now completed and we're moving on to detailed design of the recommendations for the CIP improvements down Ward Street. In review of the high level kind of design of Ward Street, they are proposing a sidewalk on the east side of the road at the north, south, and then a multi-use path on the west side of the road. Township staff have kind of reviewed that area and in conjunction with their sidewalk policy, we're going to tackle road improvements. We looked at connectivity. We did hear from residents through the PIC process that they were concerned about sidewalk amenities north of the intersection. So we did take a look at that and came to the determination or recommendation here that we connect the sidewalk from the new sidewalk will be down Ward Street and ending at the causeway. We'd extend that north to East Communication Road, where we already have a sidewalk ending at Ward Street and extending down to Belmont. So through this report, we're looking for approval to proceed with the detailed design of that sidewalk to look for any constraints and then include that with the overall design and cost estimate, construction cost estimate, then we can come back to council at a later date for approval for the whole project.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments? Councillor Henry?
Thank you, through Mayor Senes, definitely would move the motion to receive this. I want to say thanks for bringing this forward and I hope that council and township staff will support money being spent in Bridgenorth finally. Thank you.
Thank you. And Deputy Mayor Black.
Deputy Mayor says, thanks. So just a question with regards to cost, this would be township cost. This would not be part of the CIP or would be part shared cost with the county.
Through you, Madam Mayor, the sidewalk will be township responsibility.
Okay, so it's all our cost. Okay, thank you.
And we're, Councillor Coles. No worries.
For you, will the design come forward to the accessibility committee before being brought to council?
Through you, Madam Mayor, the overall design of the project will go through the accessibility committee. This will just be a component of the overall design. So really, the scope of work for the detailed design as it stands really ends at the causeway. So we're really looking for permission to extend beyond that scope to extend the sidewalk. So it'll be part of that full package.
I'm just wondering how this is going to impact the timeline. Is it a couple months, a year, just completing this part of it to add to the bigger project?
To you, Madam Mayor, it shouldn't add anything to the timeline, especially like as an engineering exercise, it won't take long. For the scope of the project, and once they start work on the job, really detailed design will flesh that out. We just have to look at utility locations, grade adjustments that might need to be taken into account on the boulevard, but it's not a large addition to the project.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is, while we're doing that work, this is a really good addition. And all we're doing at this point in time is approving the amount to be put into capital budget so we can allow the engineering design to occur. So we've had it moved by Councillor Henry and seconded by Councillor Poulos. All in favor, that is carried. Thank you. Under consent items, I have 5C is being pulled by Councillor Boyko and 6.1 is being pulled by Councillor Henry and Councillor Boyko. So Councillor Boyko, first of all, let's approve all the others. So can I have a motion to approve the rest of them? Councillor Boyko moving, Deputy Mayor Black seconding, all in favor, that's carried, thank you. Councillor Boyko, 5C.
Thank you, Mayor Sims, through you. I first want to publicly thank the family of Isabel Morris for the generosity in bringing forward the funds that are going to be necessary to have the water fill station at Isabel Morris Park. It's something that a number of groups have been talking about for a long time, and I'm glad it's going to happen. The question that I have is the location and the look of the thing. I had a hard time figuring it out from the photograph. Is it going to be attached to the building, by the building, a standalone, or perhaps we can get a little more specification of what it's going to look like?
Oh, it's upstairs, you can take a look at it if you like.
Great, so it's going to be attached.
It is a standalone, we're going away from the ones that are attached to the building because depending on where the weather hits them, so.
There you go.
Sorry. Depending on how the weather hits them, sun, and the ones we put in just over 5 years ago did not weather very well when they're in sun. So we're going with something that's strictly mechanical, standalone, it'll be a concrete. So if you know where the sidewalks are, they become ramp, and it's kind of a funny grass section.
Right.
There will be a lot less of that funny grass section. It'll be there, and we've met with a lot of the sewer manager, and we sort of got John, and it's best if we do it as a spade, so we have a lot of control that we can blow it out at the end of the year. We can do all those things, which are some of the other challenges we have with some of the other ones, they're not as easy to do. So it'll be a frost-free spigot that will get connected every year. And as I said, it's got a lot less computer on it and more mechanical, so it still fills, water bottles only, so it won't be a reservoir, and we have a little item that we can put beside it for a dog bowl as well, so people will use that, but fill that as a second.
Excellent, thank you. Through you, Mayor Sims, yeah, maybe, I'm assuming that a letter has gone from the township thanking the family for the generous donation.
We have had a lot of communications with them, certainly thanking them, but nothing official has gone until we have it in place. And it will be this year, unless Council chooses not to accept it. But it's something we can do very, very quickly. And we would love to have them out for a picture, to be honest.
Absolutely.
A ribbon cutting or water pouring or.
Water.
Yeah. Anyways, and then, we can send it.
Might be a good opportunity for one of the councilors to do a ice bath challenge. Because I have built it there.
A what?
The ice bucket challenge, where you challenge that you have a big bucket of water poured over your head. Or
Everyone's looking at me.
You like something, I love water.
Screw you, I like raising money. Oh,
We'll let you, you're gonna do it?
No. You'll have to get me out of the late then. That won't be easy to do, so no, just one more question.
Yes.
Get me ready.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Your worship. Will this operate through the winter time? Is it that kind of a valve on it that will operate in the winter time or is it shut down?
Absolutely not.
It's shut down for the winter.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll check. That's why it's got a frost-free spigot on the outside.
Yeah.
As soon as we undo it, it drains
gone.
back into the building.
Into the building, okay.
Yeah, no, it's, a little too Canadian for that.
Thought maybe they made a Canadian version of it.
All right, so we can have someone move, oh, got a question? Councillor Henry.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Silas. I'll definitely move the motion. Just curious, is this a accessible unit?
Through you, Madam Mayor, yes, it is, and it's fully Canadian made for Canadian outdoor settings.
Excellent. I like the photographs you can provide us of it, copy and paste it in front of the river den with the discarded water bottles in front of it. Part of the strategic plan, I guess. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have it moved by Councillor Henry and seconded by Councillor Paculis. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. And we'll move on to the other thing that was pulled, which was the Lovesick Lake Association. And Councillor Henry, I'll go to you first in your ward.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Silas. Been meeting with the Lovesick Lake Cottage Association a couple of times over the summer. Obviously, we're just we're gonna be resending this out, hopefully one more time with feeling to get some more attention to it. I know Trent Lakes has come on board as well. However, basically, we're just sending this out to show our support on the position as they are trying to get more support from levels that need to be involved here and also be paying for this.
Councillor Boyko.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Sims. I'm wondering if we have any responses from the others, perhaps a verbal, a phone call, any response whatsoever, or have we simply been ghosted with our first letter asking for support for this initiative?
Janice.
Thank you, through you, Madam Mayor. When we sent it out, I received one question by email from one of the First Nations communities. I answered the question and have not heard any further. We weren't circulated on any specific response to our letter. Trent Lakes did pass a resolution, but they passed a resolution prior to us sending out our letter. And I just actually received a copy of that resolution not too long ago. But so no, we did not receive directly, we did not receive any response to our letter other than the one question.
Okay, thank you, because I guess through you, Mayor Sims, I guess if it's a no from these other organizations, we'd like a no rather than simply to be another question. Thank you.
Perhaps maybe when the letter goes out, we can specifically ask is, are you or are you not? The response will be appreciated, something like that. Because I recognize that we did do what was asked originally, but as has been mentioned, we've been ghosted, so.
Yes, again, review. Our intention would be to recirculate the same letter in the email. I think we could say it would be appreciated if you could respond either way.
Another deadline.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
And then we know, but there is a little bit of a difference with these lake capacity studies. Most of them that have been done in the past were for lakes that were on their own. This is a navigable lake, and I'm not sure how they're even going to do the study because there are boats passing through, but that's just an aside. Anyway, can I have someone move the recommendation? Councillor Henry, seconded by Councillor Boyko, all in favor. That is carried. Thank you. We will move on to other business. Our special quad council meeting for September the 25th. We have to cancel it. Lori Hockaday is the new chief at Curve Lake. They were going to be hosting and chairing it. And she just had her first council meeting yesterday to get to know her new council. Apparently half of them are new. And so she wanted a little bit of time to be able to get her feet under her. And I guess we wait to hear some dates. Are we anticipating sometime this year or we don't know?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, I'm sorry, I don't have any idea. Shannon is committed to getting us some dates, but I don't know when we get them.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, so can I have someone move that to cancel the meeting? Deputy Mayor Black, seconded by Councillor Poulos, all in favor, that is carried. And now we'll move to the notice of motion. So Henry has for us. Councillor Henry.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Senes. My summer was filled with emails and phone calls about the roadways throughout my ward. My position on Peterborough County OPP board only increased the number of times these concerns were raised. Common element of concerns in the area seems to be personal safety due to the excessive vehicular speed on our roadways and the safety of our community. Some of these concerns are amplified or were amplified by the death after a 3-vehicle collision on the Lindsay Road or County Road 1. My concerns here is the 5th line between Hilliard Street and Center Line. I have approximately a 3-kilometer stretch of municipal road in Selwyn, about 20 homes. It's the only roadway in the immediate area to still be posted at 80 kilometers an hour, although the others are posted between 50 to 70 kilometers an hour. And oddly enough, the east part of the 5th line is posted at 50 kilometers an hour, and going through an intersection of the Center Line transitions into an 80 kilometer an hour zone. Other complications here is we do have our rural way of life starting to compete with our urban traffic. This also includes pedestrian, cyclists, which I don't know if you've noticed, but sometimes ride in packs of 20 or more people on the roadways, and farm equipment. Bell Rotary Trail is located at the intersection of Hilliard and the 5th line, and it is getting a lot of use. And this sees parking and people walking dogs on the roadway as well. Most of the roads in the surrounding area are posted 70, 60, and 50 kilometers an hour. However, this section of the 5th line between Hilliard Street and Center Line still remains at 80 kilometers an hour. Previous council did have the opportunity to address 5th line resident concerns and chose not to reduce the speed limits after traffic data, pertinence of the built-up area, definition of the Highway Traffic Act, and the topography design of the road, and any other relevant technical matters. Yet here we are again with this matter being brought before us. Personally, as do residents of the 5th line, I see having to do all the studies, analysis, and dogmatic process again to be an effective waste of our traffic assessment tools and resources, for which there is currently an extensive waiting list. I would like to bring forward a simple motion for council, and my motion is that we just reduce the speed limit on the portion of the 5th line between Hilliard and Center Line speed, reduced down to 60 kilometers an hour.
Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor Blau.
Thank you, through you, Mayor. I will second the motion today. I was on the police board back then and saw the information. And I certainly respect the process that we have to create now because the police board no longer exists. It's a county police board. And so these issues now have to come to council. And I was on the police board back then. The recommendation from staff was not to decrease it, but if memory serves me well, it was the definition of the number of houses and so on was very close to the provincial standard. I think you're saying, Ms. Bueller, that it does. Again, I'm not a professional, but there are a lot of homes there, and Councillor Henry is correct. Everything around it is less than 80, and I'm not sure the studies would show anything different other than maybe more vehicular traffic on there than there was 3 years ago. So, you know, I respect the motion that was put forward initially, because this council has to create a process of that information coming to council for future requests of this type. So I think that was the initial thoughts around it, that we're creating a brand new process. I've been asking for 9 months. How are we going to deal with these? How are we going to deal with it? How are we going to deal with this? Because there's no police board helping us make that decision. So 100% support that type of information package coming to council. But again, in retrospect, and I do know the information that was provided 3 years ago. I wasn't on council then, I was just on the police board. At this point, for this particular situation, as an exception, I think this council can move forward with moving it to 60 at this point. I'm not sure the new information, again, respecting that that's the process we're gonna have to follow moving forward. Because council needs to make data-driven decisions, not decisions without that information. But we do have a history of information on this road. So I support it for those reasons, today, the change in the motion that Councillor Henry's putting forward.
Thank you very much. Any other comments? Councillor Boyka.
I don't disagree. But I have a process question through Mayor Sennis, and that is council able to, by this simple motion, able to alter a speed limit on a roadway, without a current professional study or a staff recommendation? And I'm not arguing against the motion, it's a simple, process question. Is council legally able to make such a motion and to make such a change?
My opinion is yes. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
But I will ask the clerk to verify yay or nay.
Yes, it would be up to council to ultimately make the decision that's being.
I can personally say that I use the 5th line a lot to get to Peterborough. I might go 65, but I never do the 80. I don't feel comfortable doing it. It's just too fast. The ditches are too deep. To me, it isn't a wide road. It's used a lot, going both ways. And if someone is not happy that I'm doing the speed I'm doing, they darn well have to wait till I get to the end of the road, because I'm not gonna speed up. There are a lot of big trucks that use that road as well. And I believe that a lot of the traffic that's going on that particular part of the road is because of the speed limit being so high. Because they can maybe get there 2 minutes faster taking that road than the other. So I am in support of reducing it to 60 kilometers an hour myself. And I don't know if anyone else has anything to say about it, or we just take the vote. We've got a mover and a seconder. Yes. First of all, go
Sorry,
ahead
just
and then
one, just
I've got
one thing
Councillor
that
Colas.
would need to be added to the motion, because it would be, a bylaw would need to be put into effect. So we would just maybe add, if council does move forward with the motion, and that a bylaw would be brought forward to the next meeting.
But the bylaw or the motion right now says that we're gonna analyze the speed limit, and we don't really want to.
No, sorry,
motion's gone.
the new motion that Councillor Henry.
Oh, I see,
forward
to add that the
specifically
bylaw comes.
We would need to add that a bylaw would be brought forward to the next meeting.
Are you okay with that? Sir Henry? It's your motion.
Thank you, through Mayor Sennis. Definitely okay with it. If we can just start working through the process in the meantime, knowing that it's going to be passing in the very near future, can we reallocate our resources where they need to be allocated, as we have a long waiting list, and not delay that process any longer, as council have made a decision, so we should be able to start moving forward in other directions where we have concerns.
Yes.
Through you, so, you know, we could remove the speed awareness board, that would be fine. And then just to be very clear, the actual speed limit would not come into effect until the signage is in place, so. We could presumably start working on getting the locates started. The bylaw would need to be passed, but the actual speed limit wouldn't be in effect until the signage is in place. That's under the Highway Traffic Act, so that the council can't make a decision to do something for.
Okay. It's good that you reiterate what the rules are. Thank you. All right, so yes, Councillor Colas.
Thank you. You answered my one question. So the second part of it was public awareness, but I think you basically answered that with the signage. My question there was, do we have to inform the public? Because this is a council decision, sorry. Does there have to be any public awareness provided around it, or are signs good enough and say posted?
Through you, no, there's nothing in the Highway Traffic Act that requires some type of notice, that the signage is the notice essentially.
Okay. All right, if there's no further discussion, I'll call the question. All those in favor of the new motion? That is carried unanimously. Thank you. Yes.
I can add that.
Oh, you have something under other business? Okay.
Thank you, through your mayor, Senate, your worship. We've had a very busy summer, as Councillor Henry has said, with respect to a lot of things, and one of them was the 200th anniversary of the Peter Robinson landing in our area, and I was honored to participate in a couple of the events. They were fantastic. There was a lot of work put into these events. And I was, I'm not gonna name names because I will forget some of them. But there was a lot of key community leaders that put this on and made it quite an event. A big one in Ennismore, a big one in Youngs Point. There were people in Lakefield that worked on both of those. People in Lakefield that worked on the whole countywide celebration, because there was many. And I'd like the township to recognize those folks within our township at least that worked on some of those celebrations. So I'd like the assistance of council to identify who the key individuals were for that, for staff, but I think they deserve recognition from the township in the form of a certificate of recognition, that sort of thing.
A certificate of recognition, so you would, I'm not sure what you're looking for.
Some kind of recognition here as we do other individuals who do things amazing for the township, that they come in and council formally thank them and provide them with a certificate of recognition or whatever we normally would do in that situation.
Councillor Coolus?
One comment, one question. So my comment is, I've informally done that through the Stella newsletter. I've submitted a thank you for the Ennismore portion.
Right.
I worked with that committee to draft that. That's coming out, like, it came out in August, so it's coming out in the next one. But yeah, my question is, what's the criteria to meet for the certificate? Maybe that's a staff question, just so we know exactly what we're asking for and what we need.
And before you answer the question, I do believe a letter was sent out under council's direction to the organizers of the Ennismore 200th anniversary. I don't know if we sent it to any of the other groups that had been taking part in the township. Madam Clerk.
Through you, yes, both organizations were formally thanked. I think in this particular case, if I'm understanding the deputy mayor, I believe you would like to invite the organizations to a future council meeting to receive some type of certificate of appreciation and recognition, which we can make arrangements to do.
Okay, so that has been moved by Deputy Mayor Black, seconded by Councillor Henry. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Is there any other business? Councillor Henry.
Thank you, through you, Mayor Sennis. I guess it's a question that I have for township staff. The website has been redone for the township, and I'm noticing glitches within it sometimes. Sometimes I find it on the laptop, but more so I find it through my cell phone use, and not really sure what the situation is here. I'm not sure if the website needs to be reviewed to make sure it's including the responsive design that's needed to automatically adapt its layout to the various screen sizes. So it provides a consistent or user-friendly experience. But just on my cell phone, I think it was prior to the weekend, I was looking for something on the website, which I can't seem to ever find anymore. And the Lakefield campground popped up a couple times, and the website through my phone said Lakefield campground do not use. And then looked at it from different angles, and it kept popping up Lakefield campground with do not use written in very large screaming letters on the internet. I'm just curious, obviously, for comment or whether we need to actually do a review of it. And thank you, Tanya, for speaking to me prior to the meeting of it, but speaking with the other council, thought that maybe I should just bring it up and address it.
So we can speak to that, Tanya.
Through you. Councillor Henry did make me aware of that message, that page that came up. So just to step back, when the website was revamped, we did review page by page, reviewed content, simplified things, made it more user friendly. Of course, you know, it's a living piece, it's changing all the time. So in terms of the accessibility standpoint of it and making it adaptive, it certainly is. If there's a specific issue, if you could bring it to our attention, that would be great. but the platform does allow for different screens and screen types. And we can preview that and what it's going to look like. So it won't look the same on your phone as it does on the laptop, but the information will all be there. So again, we would need to know specific issues if there's a concern from an accessibility standpoint. But the website does have a browse aloud so that it's a reader. It does adapt font and adapt size for different screens. In terms of the specific concern that you're raising, the staff was being proactive in getting some pages done for the Lakefield campground. As you know, council made the decision that that would become a township operated facility. So staff was working ahead of time to get that stuff organized. The do not use was there because we didn't want it published, and it was inadvertently published and has since then been removed. So that was really there because it was starting for once we could gain operations, we're ready to go. So that's why that was there. And it came up in a search, but it's now completely removed, and we've checked it on various laptops and accounts to make sure that it does not come up. I'm not sure if that answers all your questions or if I missed it.
Councillor Henry.
Thank you through, Mayor Spanos, sounds splendidly, thank you.
Splendidly, good.
Very good.
All right, but you're satisfied with that? You don't need any more?
Thank you through, Mayor Spanos, just clarifying, thank you very much for that, and yeah, that answers my questions and concerns.
Very good. All right, we'll move on to bylaws. Yes.
Through you, we do have one other item of new business. It was actually an item that we were going to deal with at the last council meeting, but we ran out of time. So this is actually a scrubble for Mayor Senes from MPP Dave Smith. So I'm just going to read it out. Sherry Senes, first place, lemon loaf bacon. 2025 Lakefield Fair.
Champion.
Okay, you ready? Strap in here. Official scroll of sweet success. Hear ye, let it be known across the township of Selwyn and beyond, that on this glorious day in the sacred arena of the politicians' baking contest, Mayor Sherry Senes did rise, not just in polls, but in pastry, claiming first prize with her legendary lemon loaf. With a whisk in hand and a zest in spirit, she crushed the competition like butter under a rolling pin. Truly, she has proven herself a fearless leader, not only of council meetings, but also of crumb and crust. On behalf of the province of Ontario, and as your devoted MPP, I offer my heartfelt congratulations to Mayor Senes. May your lemon loaf legacy rise forever. Mayor Senes, we loaf you. We thank you. We'll never desert you. Signed with crumbs of respect, sincerely, Dave Smith, MPP, Peterborough Court.
I wonder if he wrote that.
Can we just take a quick picture with the?
God.
I should have brought a lemon. Where do you want me?
Maybe if you could just come, or you can stay there actually, and I'll just snap it from.
How many lemon loaves did you make before
Yeah.
this one?
And how much did it
Well,
cost?
actually, it's the first time I had made a lemon loaf, but I did try a couple before.
See, you told me that, I wanted you to be able to say that out loud, but this was the
Yeah,
first.
that was it. Well, I've never
Makes it
made a
even more
lemon loaf before, so thank you very much.
So why don't
Yeah.
we just get the dried out trays for morning meetings here?
Pardon?
Why don't we just get the dried out
Get
trays?
to take.
I don't. Okay, modus for adjournment here.
The bylaws.
Oh, the bylaws. Oh, sorry.
know we're all good.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You got so excited about your
Yeah.
lemon baking. Okay, so we have bylaw 61 to authorize a grant agreement with for the children grant for the Ennismore Accessible Playground. 62 to authorize a lease agreement with the Ennismore Curling Club, and 63 to authorize the agreement for the Lakefield leasing agreement with the city of Peterborough and Peterborough Police Service.
All right, so can I have something with those bylaws? Councillor Boyko, Deputy Mayor Black, all in favor, that's carried. The affirming bylaw. Counselor Pulis, Counselor Boyko seconding, all in favor, that is carried, notice, motion to adjourn. Counselor Henry and Deputy Mayor Black, all in favor, that is carried, thank you.